Hi everyone, this is Mr. Short. This is the first video I'll be making of a few regarding a program called Stykz Movie Animator. It's a free program. You can get it off the internet website stykz.net, stykz.net. It is also in the email our principal sent out. It's a great alternative to something like Scratch, especially for the lower grades. Scratch isn't something obviously I would do with, say, grades 1 and 2 yet, but Stykz is something everyone's had exposure to from grades 1 through to 7, although admittedly the 6s and 7s and a little lower don't get much time for it anymore, but it's still something we all very much enjoy, and allows for great creativity, a lot of creativity, just patience. One of the reasons I like to teach this even at the very low grades is because it also helps with fine motor control of the mouse. It absolutely requires patience and control, so bear that in mind. It can be frustrating. So remember, just it's not a rush, it's not a test. You're meant to be having fun, so try have fun. Get creative and try see how many of the ideas in your head from your imagination you can make it happen on screen. With that in mind, let's get going with the basics and a few extra fancy tips for sprucing up your video and how it all works. Now you'll notice, for those of you watching this video, that what you see is the main screen of Stykz with the Stickman. What you're not seeing is a whole bunch of extra smaller windows floating around this main one. Unfortunately, Stykz doesn't see them as actually as part of the program. They all run as a separate, completely separate window. So when I recalled, I get this issue. So you'll just have to bear that in mind. That most of those windows that you can't see do have headings though, so I will talk you through it, and they're very easy to find. If they're missing on your screen, I'll show you how to do that too. Also, how did I get to the screen in the first place? Well, after you've gone to the Stykz website and downloaded and installed the program, you should have gotten a button on your desktop, a new button waiting there for you called Stykz. It's got a little face, and you click it and it'll bring up a screen with a lot of options. Where you go, in the bottom left, there's a small menu, and the top option, I think it says start with default template or empty template, default template. And that gets you going on an empty screen like mine, where it just has one stick figure. So let's get going. How does this all work? Well, let's just make sure you have all the correct windows open before we get going. If you see here at the top, it says Windows. Click there. You can see most of mine are clicked except for Library. I don't need that, but all the others are ticked, and most of yours are probably ticked too. But don't forget to check if you are missing a window. Don't panic. Just go to this word here, Windows, and you should find it. For the younger ones, in case you're wondering how the issue of spelling and all the words here went, we didn't really focus on that. We focused more on remembering what the buttons looked like. So for example, when we talked about missing windows, it's not something I've really introduced with F1s, but Foundation 2s already know. Just look for that word at the end, that second last word, that big one, and make sure all the ticks are there. That's all they need to remember. So there's many ways of remembering how to do things in Stykz. With that in mind, let's get a character moving. How do we do that? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy's leg. And you'll notice first thing, all the blue dots went red. That means I'm now, I've highlighted the stick figure. If I click anywhere on the background once, that means I've highlighted the background. It means the game thinks I want to do something with the background, the white. You'll see that on the side of your main window, one of the floating windows will switch its heading between stage properties and figure properties. So if you're wondering where are all those nice buttons that change what my man looks like, how big they are, what color they are, all that stuff, just click on your stick figure, make sure they go red, and you'll instantly recognize those buttons you need. It says figure properties at the top, and for all the learners, they already know that that color square with the black is to change color. All the up and down arrows can be clicked on to mess with the size of your character or how tall they are, fat or thin. All those goodies can be messed with. So you can make all your stick figures very unique. So let me bend our character around a bit. I click on one of the dots. I hold my mouse in, I don't let go. I drag a bit. With my other hand, I'm going to just tap enter on the keyboard. And I'm still holding in the button. I haven't let go on the mouse. And as I'm moving it very slowly, to give myself time, I'm tapping enter every now and again between movements. And what you should have noticed is that one of your floating windows around the main window, called frames, has started to fill up with little squares. You're adding frames right now to your movie. And this is pretty much how movies play in real life anyway. At least they did in the old days on the magnetic tape. So if you press play, and that, by the way, is a blue triangle button. It's on one of the smaller floating windows called controller. There's a small blue triangle, and it's called play. If you press that, a new window will pop up. Again, you can't see it on my video, but it'll show you what you've just done. It'll show you the animations, the actual movie, what it looks like. You can safely close that window when you're done. You'll still have your main creation window, this one, and you can keep adding. Those frames can be deleted, but for now, don't worry about them. Just let them build up. And if you want to save what you've been working on, don't forget to go to File, Save, and then choose a location, easy place to find it, and give it an easy name. So yeah, you can bend your character. You can move them with the orange dot to different locations. So we could have someone chasing someone or doing a flying scene. Just have to change there. Yeah, how do we get into a superhero pose here? Getting there. There we go. Something like that, a Superman flying pose. And now you could have your character flying across the screen. So again, don't be deceived by the apparent simplicity. It's not. It requires a tremendous amount of patience. So take your time, everyone. Don't rush things. And that's the great thing about being able to save your work, is that you can come back to it later or the next day and work on it a bit more. Now, a challenge I've given some of the higher grades in a program called Scratch, which is a programming website, an introduction for it, is they need to tell a story and try to be a true story about what it's like to be at home right now. Talk about the fun things. What's been fun about being at home, and you're welcome to talk about some of the things that are not so fun as well. I'm sure there are a few of those stories too. And you can tell that story just with pictures in Stykz Animation. We could add more stick figures. We can go to this button here called Figure, and we can click on Sticks, and now we've got another stick figure that we can add to the mix. And to make them very unique, we can change their color. Remember I said if you click on a stick figure, and they go red, one of your floating windows has got a color box there, a little black box. That's the color button for changing your stick figure color. And now I'm going to choose something that doesn't clash with the red dots. I don't know, yellow. Okay. Yeah, I'll just click the segments only button there, the left button. But that's it. There's my yellow character. Now these two can possibly talk to each other, not really with words, don't have to type anything, but with how they interact. So you can tell your story with how they move around. Maybe someone's chasing someone, so you could have both of them moving. Pressing enter on your keyboard every time you move your characters a little bit. And if I had to press play, I would see that now. I would see those few frames I've added. So there's a lot you can do. Maybe you're not interested in talking about what's going on at home. Maybe you've got a different story in mind. That's fine too. I'm happy to see and hear any type of story you've told. I just want to see and hear you folks getting back into being creative. All right. I'm going to be releasing more of these videos with a few more tricks, such as drawing. In fact, before I finish this video off, I will add a bit about the drawing shapes in Stykz, but I've got many more planned, and I will do a few more for Stykz too and share some ideas. Last thing I want to do before this video comes to an end is a little bit about drawing in Stykz. So how do we do that? Well, it's probably the smallest window floating around right now out of all those windows we talked about that you can open at the top. It's the drawing window. It's only got 4 or 5 options, and one of them looks like a line. And if I click it and I bring my mouse back to this area here where we're playing and working, you'll see my mouse now looks like a plus sign. It's waiting for me to draw. So if I go and click, it's now waiting for me to click one more time once I've decided where I want this line to go. So I click here. That's it. If I click again, it's going to think I want another line. If you want that to stop happening, you're going to have to go back to that little drawing menu and choose the black arrow at the top. Now we can choose things again like we did right at the beginning when the game started. So if I want to get rid of one of these lines that we've just drawn, I can just go to it, put my mouse over the black part, right click, delete. There we go. For this one, I want to move it. So remember the yellow dots are for moving, just like on the stick figure. So I click on the yellow dot, drag it just under their feet. Now we've got a floor for our 2 characters. Let's give them a bit of distance. Make the yellow guy standing a bit closer to the floor, so it looks like he's really on it, and he looks like he's having a bit of a dance there. But there we go. That's how we draw, and you can add any shapes you want. Think of doors for houses, old castles. So I'm going to wrap this video up. Have fun with Stykz. Remember, it is free, there's no cost involved, and just go crazy. Play with the buttons. You can't break the program. The worst that can happen is that you end up closing some of those windows that you need. And then remember, you just go to the top of this main area where you see all those words and go to Windows at the end there and tick the one that's missing, and the window should come back after a few seconds. Hope you had fun, enjoy, and look out for more videos in the future. Your teacher or our principal will be sending out regular emails with updates for more videos that I've added on this new YouTube channel for you guys and gals. Take care, stay healthy, and stay safe. Until next time, cheerios.